Is Kyle Hendricks' career over with the Cubs? I don't think he's going to get designated for assignment. But after yesterday's performance, where does that put him when you add what happened at the beginning of the season? Is he a pitch or two away, or is it that he's past his time in the major leagues? We're going to talk about that. Cubs have lost 4 out of 5 games. They're banged up right now. Are they going to get healthy in time to turn things around? Is Nico Heorner coming back? What about Dansby Swanson? We're going to get into that. Cubs call up Porter Hodge. Pretty impressive right-hander, someone that might be able to help in the bullpen, but at the same time, someone else going on the IL. And Colton Brewer, we'll get into that and more. Plus, it's showtime at Wrigley Field. Shota Imanaga back out there again. Can he be the stopper for this team? They certainly need it. All that right here on the Cubs Baseball channel. We want you to like and subscribe, hang out with us when we talk Cubs baseball. Hit the bell so you know when we're dropping new shows. When Hodge got caught up, boom, we were there. If Vasquez gets his shot, we're going to have that for you as well. Whatever's going on, we cover it right here on the Cubs Baseball channel. Here's your invite. Let's go. Peace, everybody. It's Mick Gillespie at Broadcaster Mick on the socials, and it is a pleasure to talk some Cubs baseball with you guys as we get set for this Sunday showdown. It's Saturday. Look, I'm trying to skip ahead, right? Saturday showdown, and then tomorrow will be Sunday. All right, let's talk some Cubs baseball, though, and it's at Broadcaster Mick, and it's been fun interacting with you guys in the comments, reading the comments, and then for those of you that hung out with us for the watch party. I know it wasn't the way that we wanted it to go yesterday, but we still had fun because we got to hang out. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get healthy and this team will get moving. Right off the bat, Craig Counsell's quote was this: "We certainly need better. That's not going to work." And he's talking about Kyle Hendricks, 4 innings, 11 hits, 7 runs, and 4 strikeouts. Look, I'm not trying to criticize the post-game show, because, you know, being a cheerleader for the Cubs, I think all of us love the Cubs. But right now, what Kyle Hendricks is doing isn't soft contact hits. I mean, it's not a bunch of luck. This is a body of work that is the worst that we've ever seen. We all love him. We all want him to do well. This isn't a shot at someone that we don't appreciate. But in this game, Father Time's undefeated. And his time in the big leagues seemingly has passed him by, at least as a starter. The Cubs got to figure out something, because what's going on right now, just like Counsell said, it's not working. It's just not working. He's had one good outing, and the rest of them, he's been roughed up. The home runs, the hits, the pitches left over the plate, but he's talking in the postgame, and he thought he did a really good job. He's staying positive. He's doing everything right because he always does everything right. But he's making good pitches, and they're hitting him because it's his time's over. He's passed. And that's what happens. That's what happens to all of us. There comes that time when it's like you're just not effective anymore in your job. And for the Cubs, they've got to figure out if there is a spot for Kyle Hendricks, because giving up 7 and 8 runs in 4 innings, and it's become a regular thing this year, and it's not because of an injury, is just not going to cut it for this team. He's giving the Cubs 0 chance to win. And on one side, you got him pitching, and then on the other side, you see the future of the National League Central with Paul Skeens. And the guy's throwing 100. It's moving. I mean, that guy was just absolutely filthy, setting records. Does that mean the Pirates are going to be the team to reckon with? No, but I'll tell you what, they got another ace. And they've had him over the years, and then they, obviously, how it always goes for them. But I was super impressed with him, and I'm very concerned with Kyle Hendricks. And also, just to hear people that watch the same thing we're watching try to put a positive spin on that outing and the season that he's had It's just disingenuous. We've got to figure out a way to get outs. And 4 2/3 innings, 11 hits and 7 runs, when they can basically slow the bat down and flip it wherever they want. They could put a bucket out in left field and hit it in there. It just isn't cutting it. And it hurts us to say it because he is a fantastic guy. He's a great leader. He's a really good person, but pitching in the major leagues, it just doesn't seem like it's something that he's capable of doing anymore. Cubs lost 4 out of 5 games. They lost, 2 out of 3 to Atlanta. The way that those games are going down right now, these 2 games to the Pirates, I feel like losing 4 out of 5, a lot of this has to do with the health of the team. They're just undermanned. I mean, when you got Madrigal and Mastrobuoni as your middle infield, you're in trouble. Those guys aren't starters. They're fill-in guys. They're, pinch hitters and, a spot here and a spot there. Even Tachman and Pete Crow-Armstrong in the lineup at the same time. That means that you don't have Suzuki, you don't have Bellinger, you don't have Happ. I mean, you just can't put all of those backups in there at the same time. And the Cubs are having to do that right now because of the injury situation that they're dealing with. And that's part of what you deal with in baseball. But I've never seen anything like this. I mean, somebody mentioned the 1985 season, and it's starting to feel like that every time you turn around. And the latest one, we're going to talk about this in a second, is another reliever. The fact that there's only 4 guys on the pitching staff that were there at the beginning of the season, and it's May 18th. It's not like we're talking about July 18th. This team has had some really bad luck. I think Craig Counsell's done the best job you could possibly do dealing with the bullpen and then the injuries. But Dansby Swanson is eligible to come off of the IL. Tuesday, right? They're saying it's probably going to be Tuesday. We'll find out. Is Nico Heorner going to be ready today? We expect him to play today. If he's not going to play, then you need to put him on the IL and you need to bring up Luis Vazquez, who at least is a great defender. Who knows what he could do at the plate at the big league level, but he's going to be a great defender. And maybe you put Mastrobuoni over at second base. And is that any better than Mastrobuoni and Madrigal? I don't know. I think defensively he's better than – honestly, I think he's better than Dansby Swanson. So I think that he would be better than the other options. But that's not taking a shot at Dansby, who's a great defender and a Gold Glover. I just think this guy's a Gold Glover potentially too. I think he's really good. Got great range, and especially with Dansby, the way that he played this year with the knee injury. Hopefully when he comes back, he's back to being able to move the way that we know he can move. And then maybe it's a different situation. But so you don't have those 2 guys. Seiya Suzuki was out because they're bringing him back in. He's going to play. He's going to sit. He's going to play. Cody Bellinger missed on a couple, but I think he's like pretty close to getting hot. I like what he's doing right now with his swing. Porter Hodge got called up. We broke this yesterday, or we talked about it when it broke that he was getting called up. He's a guy that's been on the 40-man roster, and he is a really good player. I think he's a guy that can bring a lot to the table. 95, 96 miles an hour, can get it up there, I don't know, 98, maybe 99 on occasion, but I wouldn't call him overpowering. He's got a really good slider. When he's locked in, he's good. I could see him being someone that comes up and pitches well. I could also see him struggling as well. It's going to be definitely worth watching to see how he transitions from Iowa to the major leagues. But a couple of nights ago through 19 pitches. Yesterday would have been a great time for him to throw, but he had just thrown, so they didn't put him in there. But when you're getting blown out, throw somebody in, let them get their, the nerves out so that they're ready to go the next time around. And then Colton Brewer put on the IL. He'd actually pitched relatively well, Brewer. I mean, for one of the guys that got called up from the minor leagues and a guy that the Cubs got, off the market, the DFA'd free agent type guys, he was pretty good. So we'll see what happens. The starting rotation in flux. We're hearing that Jordan Wicks is starting to throw. Drew Smiley's starting to throw. Need to get those guys up as soon as possible because you got to get Kyle Hendricks out of the starting rotation. He's just got to go. I mean, and maybe he could be someone that comes in and gets, a couple innings for you here and there. But as long as he's in the starting rotation, this team's not going to be able to overtake the Brewers unless something drastically changes. Soft contact hits, hard contact hits, it doesn't matter. If you give up 7 runs in 4 innings every time you pitch, who cares what the hits look like? I mean, that's just the way that it is, right? Shout out to Cole Franklin, Cubs number 26 ranked prospect, had elbow surgery yesterday. Timeline is 8 to 10 months. Hearing that it's not Tommy John, but it's something else. It was a pretty horrific looking injury when he was throwing and his elbow blew out. He was in his debut for Iowa. He's a well-liked guy with really good stuff that probably would have been in the mix to get to the Cubs this year. 8 to 10 months, recovery and all that stuff. It's probably going to be a year and a half before he's even back to doing the things that it's going to take to get to the big leagues. Here we go. Today's game, pretty pumped about it. Cubs with Shota Imanaga against Bailey Falter. Imanaga is just been incredible. Him and Javier Assad have been just amazing for the Cubs in the starting rotation. 5-0 record and a .96 ERA. Those two are just absolutely brilliant right now. Bailey Falter is 2-2 with a 4.14 ERA. Cubs are looking to break out. Who knows what the lineup's going to look like today, but they've just got to get things turned around. I mean, right now, they really need to split this series and just try to tread water as they're bringing guys back off of the IL. But it's a 120 game at Wrigley Field, and we'll be watching. And, hey, for all of you that were there for the watch party, hey, thanks for hanging out. I know that, the game turned into a blowout, and some of you guys stayed to the end. So thank you. It was fun hanging out with Anthony, kind of getting his perspective on things, as a younger Cubs fan, and then some of us OGs that have been pulling for the Cubs forever. We're used to this, Anyway, get in the comments section, like and subscribe, share with your Cubs friends, and from the bottom of my heart, thank you. We'll be watching today and hopefully get things going back in the right direction again. And if anything breaks, you know that you can count on us right here on the Cubs baseball channel. Go Cubs.